Welcome to the Triumphant magazine show where we feature those that are doing extraordinary things unapologetically. And today we are blessed and fortunate to have Evangelist Angie BEE, which is the Queen Angie BEE, in front of us. And she is an author of Fire Up, which is a #1 international eBook right now. And we're scheduled to also have audiobooks, which will be coming out shortly through Angie BEE and Barty Productions. So definitely look out for that. And they're also working on a paperback book. But even with all that said, they are #1 international bestseller. Evangelist Angie BEE is also an author of several books, and she's going to be able to give you the scoop on that in just a moment. She's an evangelist, as we said. She can perform weddings. She is over the Bold and Beautiful and Bold Beauty Bazaar, and she's going to give you some information on that today, as well as I know she is a mother of 2. Now she has 4, 2 daughters and 2 sons, so she's going to be able to give you some information on that. And she's also a writer for Triumphant magazine, which is part of Morning Glory. So every single month, you can look forward to Morning Glory coming from Evangelist Angie BEE. So at this time, without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce the Queen Evangelist Angie BEE. And she's going to introduce herself to our audience today.
Oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You give me all those accolades. I'm tired just listening to you. It's only by the grace of God that I'm able to accomplish half of what you just described. So thank you so much, Teresa. It is an honor and pleasure to be in fellowship with you, to be in alignment with you. That's been the ministry theme. We're in alignment with positive people. And so I'm honored to be a part of Triumphant magazine. I'll be here till you kick me out. And
we're not going to do that.
As long as I'm a bald woman, I'll continue to represent alopecia awareness.
Yes.
As long as the Lord uses me, I will continue to do all that you have described and more. So thank you for having me on the show. Thank you. Thank you.
And we thank you as well. And you're definitely, when I think of you, I always think of Dr. Maddie Clark, how you always put the women up under and men up under your shoulders, and you always push us off into our destiny. So we're thankful that you not only took like 1 or 2 or 10 talents of God, but you allowed it to multiply. So thank you for your willingness to allow God to use you in a magnificent way. So I want you to tell us about Fired Up, because we're so fired up about it. So tell us about what you put in there and why you put that in there. Why was it important for you to put that out there to the world?
Fired Up was something that was brought to me through the lovely Facebook algorithms. I had been friends with Rebecca Vijay, the visionary, but she and I really had not connected. You know how you may have a couple thousand friends and you connect with them initially, but and so she and I had not really connected. But then through the grace of God, she started talking about this project where women would be able to share how they took their test and made it a testimony, took their mess and made it into a ministry. And all of her descriptions just jumped at my spirit. I said, my goodness, I just have so many testimonies. Which one? And when she started to introduce each co-author to each other, I could see the international, the global presence. Women in India had a story. Women in UAE had a story. Women from Canada had a story. Women from all different parts of the United States had stories. And I'm like, we thinking it's just us, in our little bubble. So anything that I can share is going to be a blessing. And then we won't even talk about what I wrote. I just have to share that as I was narrating the book,
Yes.
all the stories of the pain and the suffering and the disappointment and the overachiever and the overlooked and the it was just a sisterly thing.
That's it.
It reminded me of women, I guess, in the 60s and the 70s when we went through this whole movement where women were taking off their bras and they were just all unified and just, forget this, women's suffrage. That's what the book was about.
That's it. That's it.
Are suffering needlessly.
That's it.
And so that's what got me fired up about the book.
Yeah.
And then I have to just say, God is so good, because I had submitted my piece. I knew that the deadline was coming up in like a week, less than 2 weeks. And so I'm looking at what I wrote. Should I rewrite something else? And Lord, what should I do next? And the Lord said, call Aretha. And I'm like, Laretha?
That's
like,
it.
yeah, call Aretha. But Lord, she ain't gonna have a whole lot of time. We've been working on this for months. She can't come in. Call Laretha. He only gonna speak to you once or twice. By the third time, you're in trouble. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna do this, Lord? And the Lord saw fit to make a way, not only for Laretha to slide in and share her story, but she didn't like her initial story. She went back and conferred with the pastor, wrote a second story, and still made.
Isn't that
so just to be able to see Laretha get fired up.
That's it.
It's like when a child gets, a math equation and then they run around calculating everything.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Absolutely. So I fired up. We's fired up.
You gotta stay fired up. Stay fired. But you brought up a lot of great things, because I had the interview with Laretha yesterday, and I was telling her, I said, most people write the book and then they go to Angie BEE Productions, and then they do the audiobook. I said, but you went the other way around. You did your audiobook first, and then you did the writing within Fired Up. So what would you encourage other people that say, I don't know where to start? Should I start with the book first, or should I start with the audiobook? What words of advice would you like to give them at this time?
I don't ever want to compete with a traditional publishing company, because it has its place. Absolutely. It's just like going to church every Sunday versus virtual church every Sunday.
Absolutely.
Both have their place.
Absolutely. Okay?
But I would say, one, if your finances are challenging, it is cheaper to produce an audiobook versus a print book. If your book cover isn't ready, you can produce an audiobook while you're waiting for your book cover. If your story has not yet been edited, you can do an audiobook that can still portray your thoughts without having to be edited for content for a reader. So people can listen and get one picture, and they can read and get another picture.
Absolutely.
So your audiobook can actually be something that gets people ready to read your printed word. And there are a lot of people whose literacy is expanded by reading and listening along. Just like a child, you may read the story to the child, and the child is reading. So sometimes having the audiobook prior to the eBook even is helpful for some people and their comprehension. But what several of our clients have said is the beauty of the audiobook is that you can get 2 or 3 chapters of your book turned to audio and pre-sell that. And then from that money, pay the editor to put the book together, pay the illustrator to get your book cover together. You can use that money to reinvest in the book. Now that's if you're self-publishing. If you're going, if you're going the traditional publisher's route, like with Ladero Press, you submit everything to them and they handle all the costs. However, your bound to their production schedule. So if you send them something today, you may not see it in book form for 12 months. Some people don't want to wait that long. So they'll self-publish, or they'll go with their audiobook and make money while they're waiting for their book to come. Either or, whatever way is good, as long as you're true to what God has placed within you, and as long as you're reaching the multitudes and not waiting, because tomorrow is not promised.
That's it. That's it. I love it.
Tomorrow's not promised. So even with Angie BEE Productions, we're working with people who still have their story in their head. They can't even sit at a computer and type it up. So we have them to work with our transcriptionists, where they can sit and dictate their story. The transcriptionist takes what they've written and they edit it for them for content, and they make it presentable to be a manuscript. So I'm very proud of our team at Angie BEE Productions. We can work with just about anybody to get their story.
And that's a blessing, because like you said, you even had the gentleman with Confinement Chronicles all the way from Africa. So you want to tell us a little bit about that as well?
Oh, Bishop Rex Apasunju. He and I worked together. I guess, honestly, I've been married to Barty for 8 years, so maybe we've been associates for 9, 10 years, almost 11 years. Again, connected on Facebook. And he at one point had a US-based ministry. And so when the Lord first instructed me to begin the tour back in 2011,
oh wow,
he read one of our posts and he said, "We would love to host you here in Nigeria."
Wow,
and it just sounded fascinating. We still have not connected in person,
but you will.
However, I respect his outreach ministry. And so when we were looking for, and you may remember this, Teresa, because you probably wrote more content in the Confinement Chronicles series than anybody else besides me. You know, you wrote into about every volume.
You pushed me.
But when we were looking to produce the volume that was titled "When the Doors of the Church Closed,"
yes. Mm-hmm.
I, immediately like, what are they doing over in Africa? What are they doing in Nigeria? If we're over here and we can't get to church,
no,
they walk miles to get it. What are they doing?
Yes,
so I contacted Bishop, and he got specific about how they needed to do internet connection and electricity even, and still being able to reach out to his flock while performing funeral after funeral. These men and women of God that are running these churches, they're doing weddings and they're doing Facebook Live, but they're doing a whole lot of funerals in this pandemic.
Yes.
And Bishop Rex addressed that. And I'm happy that he did. Most of the men and women of God talked about having to do outdoor services or virtual services, but Bishop Rex really pulled it together that when the doors of the church closed, the church immediately went into full-time funeral.
Right.
I mean, just one after another after another. Heartbreaking.
It is.
Heartbreaking.
And I love it because
we're still dealing with that.
Like you said, with the Confinement Chronicles, you actually pulled a lot of stories out of us that we didn't realize was in us. So what made you decide to go ahead and say that this was important? I need to get it out there to others.
Well, if we go back to Bishop Rex in Nigeria, he even said how historical the Confinement Chronicles are going to be. Because decades from now, when people go back and say, well, what was it like in the pandemic? They've got stories from people who were living it day by day. I remember when the Lord said, create an audiobook series. And I had never done this before. I just produced audiobooks of words that other people had written.
That's it.
But to sit and write and come up with topics and what, how? And, you can't question God. I specifically remember when the protest started.
Yes.
And I was walking through the house and I looked at the screen and there were hundreds of people. I said, how they gonna be protesting in the middle of a pandemic? Everything closed down. Go home. And then I realized Pastor Regina Nunnally Esquire here in Daytona Beach, she was out there protesting. I'm like, what was that like? How was that, you know?
Right.
So the enthusiasm was there because I really wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know what was going on with my niece, who was, 7, 8 years old. How are you doing school at home, honey?
Yes.
How is my sister dealing with having to stay home from work because my niece was home? The topics just came faster than I could write them.
Right.
I had a friend that was diagnosed with cancer in the middle of the pandemic. Oh Lord, how do you? The hospitals weren't accepting non-urgent care folks. I mean, the topics were right there. It was like God was saying, okay, baby, today I need you to write about this. Today I need you to write about that. And I just was grateful that I could call Teresa and say, Teresa, can you help me write about
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Marty, will you help me write about something? I called my sister Sonia. Sonia, can you help me write about something? And Confinement Chronicles, the audiobook series, was picked up by Ladero Press. It is now a full book.
Yes.
It's about 283 pages. Yes. Oh my God. It's available on Amazon. And I thought, okay, that's it. The pandemic is over. We done.
No.
And here we are.
God said, no, not so.
Here with more topics. So now Confinement Chronicles will continue. We did, last year we did the single saved struggle, because there's some single folks out here in the pandemic, they were struggling. And there was so many of those stories we had to do. The struggle continues. So that was an extension.
The struggle continues.
It did. That was a whole nother volume right there.
Wow.
And then we've got the Dads on Duty traveling workshop that is anxious to start back up and share stories about fathers. And so we're accepting stories now about fathers, folks that want to be fathers, folks that had a father figure. We're doing that one. Then we're doing one for couples. I heard stories of couples taking care of each other at their bedsides in the hospital during the pandemic. Please share that experience. I talked to a woman who said her husband is bipolar and her 2 children are on the spectrum. An autism spectrum. And how did you make it during the pandemic, girl?
That's it. It's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot. So now we're accepting stories about history. So many people lost grandparents and always thought, okay, I'll be able to hear those stories again. And they won't. Let's share our history during Black History Month.
It's important.
Let's forget the stories that Grandma and Nana and Granny and they told us. So we're accepting those stories now. And we also want to recognize the parents, the co-parents, the single parents that have been dealing with this pandemic. The economy says that people don't want to go back to work. But when I look at some folks, they can't go back to work because the kids are in school 1 minute out of school.
Absolutely.
So we want to hear those stories too. So
now, how can they get those stories to you? How can they get those stories to you if they're interested?
I'll give you the email address. You send it to a special announcement at gmail.com. That's the submission email for Confinement Chronicles by Angie BEE Productions. You can search for Confinement Chronicles on Facebook and you'll see all the stories that we did when the pandemic first started. And you'll see the flyers that are soliciting stories for the next series. We've got a couple of deadlines coming up soon, early February, because we want these stories out by spring. We're also looking to do another Emerging from the Curve series. Okay. That was the series that we did, the virtual workshop. Yep, the middle school kids from the school in Michigan. And now they have audiobooks and a book. So if you have a youth group or a school situation, scouting situation, something where you want to get a group of kids together virtually and we all write their stories together, contact us. Send us an email, a special announcement.
I love it. And then if you could tell that also, because I'm pretty sure there will be several people interested, about your workshops that you have, like for those that, you know, feel like I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start. I know you have something coming up in March for 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah. We generally have the Authors for All, an interactive virtual writing workshop on Facebook through the Facebook Messenger room. It's generally on a Wednesday, either at noon or 5 p.m. We do have a Friday workshop coming up in the evening. But just to share a little testimony, Laretha was one of the first people that popped on when we first started doing these workshops. Because, you know, you got to have a trial person. Somebody said, well, no, you don't need to do that.
Well, that's
You have
pretty
to
good.
turn music down. So Laretha was a part of it, and she gave her feedback. And then she came back when I did another one, and she actually started writing. So now a part of Laretha's testimony is that she attended this virtual writing workshop, and now she's an Amazon International number 1
bestseller,
and fired up. So
yes.
Girl, that's a blessing. We do them for children. We'll be doing them for the GEMS youth program out of Dayton, Ohio. GEMS is an acronym for Girls Empowered and Mentored to Success. It's run by Reverend Don Martin of the RERC Incorporated in Dayton, Ohio. So there's about 10 or 15 middle school girls there that will join us. And then we've got Dr. Connie Mitchell's STEM kids here in Volusia County. They're going to participate. And so the more the merrier, because the kids miss interacting with each other.
That's true. That is so true.
The more you can get them together on Zoom or anything, where then we did a scavenger hunt with the girls, and they were running through the house, grabbing pen, paper, notebooks, and Bibles, and
that was really nice.
We have to give them an outlet to let them write about the pandemic and to allow them to learn. So
I love it. And I know you and Laretha, y'all have an upcoming book signing. So do you want to tell our audience about that as well?
God is good, because when the pandemic first hit, Barty and I were on the road. We drove to Michigan and Ohio, a couple other places. And folks was like, ain't you scared of the pandemic? I'm like, okay. You know, we really, Lord took care of fools and babies, and we was babies. So last summer, we fought to really get out. There were some places that were so closed down, we couldn't even book a hotel room. But we still managed to do book signings in Waldorf, Maryland, in Texas, North Carolina. We still went some places.
Yes.
And so this year we're kind of like, well, we don't really want to push our luck. Maybe we just need to stay close to home, you know?
Right.
So we're going to Melbourne, Florida, for a book signing early March 13th, I believe. Then we've got another book signing at a senior facility in Daytona Beach.
Yes.
Then we've got, February 5th, we're going to be right over here at the Oneness Business Center on Oleander. That is the Oneness Business Center is also the Oneness TV network.
That's going to be nice.
Show Back to Family.
That's
and they've asked Barty and I to star in Back to Family, the new comedy show.
Right.
So we're going over there to do a book signing. What the Lord has laid on our heart is to go to as many places that may have small businesses that may have been struggling.
Yes.
And invite their folks and our folks just to come out and take a tour of their facility, find out more about what they're doing, like at the senior center, find out more about what the seniors need.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And sometimes seniors just need companionship. Somebody talk to, somebody to sit with them. So if we can reach out to those in our area before we get back on the road again.
Absolutely.
That's what we want to do. I had a small child that one time say to me, well, when Jesus left with the disciples, didn't his mom miss him? Didn't his family at home miss him? You know? And so that's kind of what I feel like. We've been everywhere, man, but we haven't really been here
doing things at home. I love it. I love that philosophy. And it's definitely needed, as you mentioned. And then I know for Mother's Day, you have something exciting going on too. So tell us about Mother's Day.
Man, Bertie is working on something, and again, this is the power of the Lord, because Bertie likes to admit, hey, I'm retired. I ain't doing all this. I ain't doing
That's
all
it.
this. But then the other day, he's like, baby, let's do a Mother's Day dinner show. I'm like, okay, you know that's my birthday weekend, right? Yeah. I'll do this for you for your birthday. How is me doing a dinner show gonna be my birthday
For
present?
your birthday.
Yeah, but he's already got the resort
Yeah.
on board. It's going to be just like our Wednesday night getting over the hump with Angie BEE and Bertie, except we're going to have a live studio audience,
Right.
and everybody's going to be able to eat dinner, and we're going to be able to spoil our mothers. And
that's going to be awesome.
I'm looking for some folks to come with some chocolate, some flowers, things like that, and it's going to be in Daytona Beach. So visit our website, thequeenbee.com, DAQUEENBEE.com. And then that'll be all the information to be there, how you buy tickets. It's an intimate venue. I think it only seats maybe 60, 70 people.
Oh, so they need to do it like right away. They need to get it set up right away.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited. I got to brag on God, because for a minute I was the only alopecia in the city, in the world, only one. And we have the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar every year, and Triumphant magazine has been a glorious promotional sponsor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But then I ran into Jamie Elmore.
Yes,
on Facebook.
Jamie.
And she was doing that publication for alopecians. And last summer, she was asked to come to Annapolis, Maryland, to participate in their Juneteenth parade.
That's it.
So she got about 60 other alopecians together with their matching t-shirts, and they marched in the parade.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
The city of Annapolis asked her to come back. Bertie and I are going, and so far I think she got about 90 of us signed up.
Oh, so that's gonna be awesome.
We'll be going in June to Annapolis in our Bald Boss year, and we'll be representing Alopecia Awareness and taking the chapter out of Confinement Chronicles, the chapter that dealt with Alopecia Awareness. We'll be taking that with us to share. So
that's going to be awesome.
The Lord is enlarging our territory.
Excuse me.
And keeping us safe from harm.
No, that's going to be awesome.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
now, if
Lord.
you could tell us about September, so that way they can look forward to that as well.
The Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar is getting its own website because it's so big it can't even share my website anymore. So mark it down. It's going to be boldbeautifulandbald.com. It should be live.
Okay, this is Triumphant Magazine's show, and we're back on with the Evangelist Angie BEE and also her husband, Bart T. And we were getting ready to start talking about Bart T. We was getting ready to start talking about the Beauty Bazaar. So if you can go ahead and give us some information about that at this time, please.
The Beauty Bazaar is called the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar for Alopecia Awareness. And it would not be what it is if it weren't for a couple of folks. One, Barty encouraged me. Yes. He said, baby, you ain't got to put your wig on all the time. We can go out to a restaurant. You can go bald. I'm going to be with you. Ain't nobody going to say nothing to you. I'm going to be right there. And I said, well, yeah. You are right. You are right. So once I started going out in public, then Donna Gray Banks from the Fresh Book Festival came aboard. She said, Angie BEE, you would not believe how many people in Volusia County are dealing with hair loss. You need to do something. Yes. So in 2017, with Triumphant Magazine in attendance, we launched the annual Beauty Bazaar with a fashion showcase. And even though we could not have the fashion showcase last year because of COVID, we continue to grow with the weekend retreat. Yes. It's nothing better than to be able to fellowship and to talk about different situations. So the Beauty Bazaar is a weekend retreat that begins on Thursday night with a gathering. Friday, we generally do workshops and an all dressed up outing where we're all dressed in white with our little bald heads, and people are like, where them 20, 30 people going? And this year it's the third weekend in September. Registration will be opening on the website, which is boldbeautifulandbald.com.
Yes.
The event is so large, it's getting its own website that will launch mid-February.
Congratulations.
Registration, yeah, oh my goodness. Registration will open up for the weekend retreat and for vendors to attend. I don't know if the hotel is gonna be able to accommodate us this year. They said they could, but last year we sold out of 20 rooms and they were not expecting it.
Wow.
So don't wait till the last minute to get your room. We were sold out, I think. Yeah, we were sold out by the end of July, I think. So it's just between going to Annapolis, Maryland for the Juneteenth, the Juneteenth parade.
Yes.
And the beauty bazaar. I think it's safe to say we're probably the two largest alopecia awareness events run by African Americans.
Absolutely. I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah. And you know, since then we've had Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. She revealed that she was bald. We've had Jada Pinkett Smith reveal that she's dealing with alopecia. And so as long as we can take the Band-Aid off so that it's not so painful anymore, we've got more and more people that are able to come out and support. And it truly began with Barty and with Donna Gray Banks. And I'm very grateful for both of them. Oh, somebody just handed Barty a glass of something. What's in that glass?
Barty.
Wine, but I'm not drinking it till after I sing.
I was wondering. It smells like grape juice. Let's just come up to the window and y'all have to excuse us. We're sitting in the car because Barty is performing today. He was asked by the city of Palm Coast to come in and sing Louis Armstrong's song.
Oh, Louis Armstrong. All right.
Yeah. And it's very special to me because when Barty and I were dating, I was invited to by Elder Sabia Seabrooks to preach at one of her Women Tearing Down Walls events.
Okay.
And the morning before that service, the Lord said, you know, you need Barty to sing. And I remember asking him, will you sing something before I step into the pulpit? And he was like, no, I'm not. I said, no. Let's do A Wonderful World. Will you please do It's a Wonderful World? And so that's what he's doing today.
Oh, that's going to be really awesome. Go ahead, Barty. Do it, man.
Well,
do it.
What it is, they have a large sculptural turtle that they named Louis.
Oh.
And it's right in front of their pool. It's covered up now.
Wow.
So at 2:00, that's the revealing. They're gonna reveal the turtle, and then I'm gonna sing the song.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. It's gonna be nice, but it's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
I'm gonna be in my mink. See my fur back there, and that was just gonna be.
Marty said it's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold. It's wind blowing.
We have a variety of walking trails in this community, and each walking trail has a name, and they're all turtle trails. They're all so they're dedicating a new turtle trail, and it's okay. And you said they got food too. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, food and wine.
And wine.
And being home, I will be in home in time for the game.
Yes, he got his priorities straight. Priorities.
We're looking forward to the game when we get home.
Yes, indeed.
But I'm grateful for all of these opportunities because Barty has been invited to certain places to sing, and I'm just able to be there to pray over the atmosphere and to just be a light for people that may be in a dark place. Absolutely. And so that's what we do with Angie BEE and Barty Productions, and even getting back to Fired Up. I remember there were some times I was narrating some of the stories, and it was so heavy on my spirit. Some of the testimonies were just heavy, and to come out of my studio and have Barty right there with, you know, a cup of tea for me or lunch or dinner. Oh, it just made all the difference in the world. So thank you, honey.
Yeah, we thank you, Bartsy. And Angie B, we thank you. And Angie B, we love it when you narrate the stories, you become the story. You become the story. So we thank you for taking our stories and becoming what you're actually reading and putting out there to others. And because just like with the Confinement Chronicles, with the part, I think it was with Monique and losing, I think it was her sister singing happy birthday. You put yourself in whatever position, you know, whatever they have written, you become that person that they wrote about. So we thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to my sister Sonia and Barty for that, because to call them and say, hey, I need y'all to sing happy birthday together. And they're like, well, you know, so Sonia had to record her happy birthday. Barty had to record his, had to put them together and to make it really fit. And Monique says that her mother was really touched.
I'm pretty sure. I was touched. I was in tears with a lot of the stories. So.
It's got a powerful story. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you for allowing me to narrate each month's issue of Triumphant magazine. Yes. Audio magazines have really been touching for me. Yeah. I look forward to putting them all together and making them into one long audiobook for you.
Coming soon, coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon, coming soon. And the audiobook for Fired Up should be coming soon.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm waiting to get final approval from all the authors that we got everything together. And I know that people have been waiting for the print issue to come, but you know, with that backlog, you know, folks couldn't get, you know, print houses couldn't get paper and stuff. It's taking a little bit of time.
It is.
But we want you to enjoy the ebook. The audiobook is coming soon, and the print copy. So y'all can get fired up just like the rest of us.
That's it. Get fired up. This is the season to stay fired up.
Yep.
Is there anything else you would like to mention before we close our show today? Anything else that we might have needed to mention? You can mention it at this time.
I just want to encourage people to stay in alignment with the Word of God.
Yes.
Whether you're going to church, whether you're reading your Bible, whether you're listening on the radio or streaming, continue to keep the Word of God in your ear, because this is still, you know, the new normal. We still don't know what it is.
That's true.
So write down your feelings, right? You know, they told us years ago to journal. Yeah. Journal what's going on in your life. Journal something that you would want your children or your neighbors or somebody else to know about. Don't just keep it within you. We've got young people committing suicide. We got young people still going into schools. We got people with mental illness murdering, and all of this is happening, and it affects us to our soul. So the more you can write and express it, the more you can get it out. And then a week from now, or a month from now, or years from now, you can go back and say, wow, I was really going through something. Mm-hmm. And look how God brought me through it. So stay focused on the Word of God. Stay focused, and let Him hold your hand and see you through it always.
I love it. And then if you could let our audience know how they can get in touch with you, social media, email.
Yep. You can search for Angie BEE Productions on Facebook. That's ANGIE BEE, just like a round, yellow, busy little bumblebee for God. Angie BEE Productions on Facebook. You can search for Angie BEE and Bartee Productions. Bartee is BARTEE Productions. Angie BEE and Bartee Productions. You can watch us on Facebook and YouTube now, Wednesday nights, beginning at 7 p.m. with Getting Over the Hump with Angie BEE and Bartee. Just search for Live with Angie BEE and Bartee on YouTube. You should be able to pull us down. Yep, we are available for weddings. Yes, I will do a funeral, but I prefer not to.
Oh, that's right.
Available for weddings. Bartee will sing family events, corporate events. Some of the brides have been thrilled because he'll sing a little something, you know, at the reception, or serenading the bride down the aisle. We love to travel, so please invite us to your area. We'll bring our books. We got so many of them. We got 2 books that we wrote just together, and Barty is working on his book too.
Tell us about the books that the 2 of you have, because Valentine's Day is around the corner, which is next month.
Our first book is our true love story. Only God could have written it, because I wasn't going to get married again. Barty, was you going to get married again?
And I wasn't going to get married.
All right, Barty.
Need that.
But God said, no, y'all need to do this for the kingdom. So we met, dated, and married in 6 months. And now we have a book about it. It's called In the Beginning, There Was God, Me, and You. Yeah. And it is how God brought Barty to meet me while I was out gleaning in the field, literally. And then our second book is In the Beginning, There Was God, Me, and You, Part 2. Yeah. And that is, our publisher says it's a Christian romance comedy book, because it truly talks about our first 7 years together, ups and downs and kids, and trying to figure things out. You know, it's not like we were spring chickens, you know, and just trying to learn it. So if you want a true Christian romance, the books are on sale on our website. Yep, thequeenbee.com. And because we wrote these 2 books, I tell every young couple, when you first start to fall in love, write about it. Yes. Because if you get married and if he gets on your nerves, you need to go back and read why you fell in love with this man. Why you married him, or why he married her. Why you married him? Why?
Or if she gets on your nerves, you go back, you know? Yeah.
Get in there. You got to write it down. You got to. I love it. Those 2 stories are available. And then one final plug for the Mother's Day event. The first 25 mothers that get their tickets when they go on sale will also get a free copy of the book Ma, which is my tribute for mothers. So again, all of that will be posted on Angie BEE and Barty Productions on Facebook, on our website, thequeenbee.com. And you can always give us a call or text us. The number's 407-914-6519, 407-914-6519. I see members of the media are arriving for this turtle dedication. Folks are coming.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And Barty, do you have any last minute words yourself? Any last minute words about any upcoming events that we have this year?
Not at this time. Just stay focused.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay
focused. Yep.
Stay tuned and stay focused.
Yep. That's it.
Well, it's definitely been a pleasure, as always, Evangelist Angie BEE, having you on our show. And thank you, Barty, for also being available as well. And we look forward to nothing but greater things. We're excited about, like how you said, the author writing that you have coming up for the next 5 or 6 weeks. Definitely count me in on that. You can count me in also with being a part of the book signing that's scheduled for March 4th. I believe at the place where Laretha stays at. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
Don't worry, also the Alopecia Awareness that you always hold near and dear to your heart in September. So we can't thank you enough for being here today. May God continue to shower his blessings upon you. And we know that the word tells us that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And we definitely know your steps are always being ordered. So thank you for being a part of this segment today. God bless you.
Thank you, sweetie. We'll see you at your birthday.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.